Introducing an AutoCAD model of a seafaring and land traversing automotive marvel, a commercial hovercraft. On your screen is the dynamic exploded view of a model. It illustrates all the vital parts and their interplacing.
Hello everyone, my name is Aryan Solanki, and on behalf of Group 5, under the guidance and support of a tutor Professor Madhu Adali and course instructor Professor Sameer Patel, I shall be presenting the introduction for our course project. This is the course project for ES 101, and we have chosen to build a commercial hovercraft. Our motivation stems from our collective interest in innovation, design, science, and technology. At the inception of our course project, we considered making a machine gun or a spacecraft, but the integrate hard work in building an AutoCAD model from scratch would be more satisfying than building one from YouTube or AutoCAD. And hence we decided to make a model from scratch on our own, and a commercial hovercraft seemed to be the perfect fit. We were deeply motivated by the marvel of technology that went into hovercraft manufacturing, the illustrious legacy they had, and its frequent appearances in pop culture and science fiction. The process that we went through was strenuous, tiring, and complicated, yet judicious and thought-provoking. The main process was simple. We ideated as a group, distributed parts and work based on our preferences and personal skill sets, and then we convened at regular intervals to discuss progress and get peer feedback. We ensured honesty among us and maintained a transparent no hierarchy core so that we did the course project as friends doing something creative and not as colleagues working on a deadline. There were many important challenges that we faced as well. We faced two major ones. The first one was an obstacle that we faced prior to the AutoCAD modeling phase was dimensioning our project completely on our own. It must be noted that the entire process of modeling and dimensioning, we did not take the aid of tools like GrabCAD or YouTube tutorials. This led us to make constant corrections, alterations to a predetermined sketch report. But regardless, we pulled through and made the hovercraft seem functional and appropriate. Another major challenge we faced were the nitty-gritties of team dynamics. For many aspects, we faced verbal agreements, intellectual disagreements, and initially there was a rigid work distribution in all aspects of the projects. But towards the end, we showed a great team spirit and did things in a collaborative fashion. We did things that had to be done without thinking whose work it was. Facing these challenges ensured that our commercial hovercraft becomes a success. The following is a work distribution table snapshot from the sketch report. It is of our proposal making phase. I would request the viewer to pause the video and have a look at it. The following is our work distribution table snapshot from the sketch report as well. It is of our sketching and dimensioning phase. I would again request the viewer to pause the video and have a look at it. This is the final work distribution table. I would again request the viewer to pause the video and have a look at it.
Hello everyone, I am going to explain some of the parts of our easy model. The first part which you see on the screen is known as the skirt of the hovercraft, and it has been modeled by Earth Dubai. Now the major use of the skirt is to provide a cushion on which the hovercraft can levitate above the ground. The material used for skirts are a material which are stretchy in nature, so rubber was one of the material used for skirt. The exact part where the skirt is assembled is at the bottom of the hovercraft, so the entire hovercraft rests on the skirt. The next part which you see on the screen is known as the base of the hovercraft. So the entire hovercraft rests on this particular structure, so it has to be sturdy. Now because the entire structure rests on it, we have extruded a metal piece over the base of the hovercraft so that the rest of the parts can be easily assembled on it. Now the exact portion where this gets assembled is this. This is the base of the hovercraft, which has been highlighted by the green portion, and the rest of the parts which you can see, sorry, are the major parts which rest on the hovercraft base. Thank you. The next part which you see on the screen is known as the base of the propeller, and it has been modeled by Ayush Abhi. Now the need of the base of propeller is because, as we can see in the final assembly, if there is no base or to the propeller, there will be insufficient air for the fans to intake because of the blockage by the passenger unit. So for more air intake, we have assembled this base of the propeller so that there is more flow of air and the hovercraft can easily move forward. The next part which you see on the screen is known as the cover of the propeller, and it has been modeled by Ayush Sabane. Now as you can clearly see, there is a fine mesh on the cover of the propeller. The reason being that because the hovercraft hovers above the ground and above many other surfaces, it is vulnerable to accidents such as a bird strike, which usually occurs in aeroplanes but can also occur in hovercraft. So for the safety of the passenger and for maintaining the hovercraft, we decided to add a small mesh, and there are propellers behind it so that it also protects the propeller from getting hit by any other foreign particle.
Hi everyone. So our next part is the propeller. This part is being modeled by Ashutosh. So the propeller is comprises of two main components, and this is the first component, which comprises of the motor and stuff, and the second component is the wings, which are exactly 4 in number in our model. So we have two propellers, and these are located at the back side of the hovercraft, which you can see in this assembly. And so this is the base part, and these four are all the wings of that. So the propeller on a hovercraft works like a big fan. It pushes air downwards to lift the hovercraft off the ground and also pushes air backward to move it forward. This helps the hovercraft to float and travel smoothly over different surfaces like land or water. So our next part is the rudder, and this part is being modeled by Ayush Abhi. So the AutoCAD model of this part is something like this. These are like parallel plates, and there are two plates located on one propeller. So it is located at the back side of the hovercraft, on the cover of the propeller, and these are these two parallel plates. And the rudder in a hovercraft controls its direction by redirecting the airflow from the propulsion system. It helps steer the craft left or right by altering the airflow, enabling navigation and maneuverability.
So this is the hovercraft engine. As you can see, it is a very intricate piece of machine. And as we know that the hovercraft in itself is a very complex machine, which has multiple propulsion systems, wings and rudders. So in order to harness that energy altogether, the hovercraft machinery also needs a very complex engine. And as we can also see it in the assembly as well, that the hovercraft engine is placed in the back side of the machinery, and so in extension to the previous part, the hovercraft engine, this is the water air cooler. This part has been modeled by Ayush Sabane. And the reason why this is so important is because when a hovercraft is in process, there are multiple exothermic reactions that are occurring, and the overall temperature needs to be maintained, as well as the propulsion of the hovercraft needs to be focused in a particular direction, so as to say. And that is why it has a very integral role in the traversing of a commercial hovercraft. It can be observed even in the final assembly as well, where its location is aptly placed next to the rudders and the propellers and the engine as well. This is the passenger unit. It has been modeled by Arpita. The passenger unit is a very integral part of the entire hovercraft system. It is because it is the centerpiece in the machinery, and it accommodates the passenger. Making a crucial passenger unit is very, very important because it accommodates the passengers throughout the convoy and ensures a smooth travel. This is the cargo hatch situated on the roof of the passenger unit. It has been modeled by Arpita Kumawat. As you can see, it is an integral part of the hovercraft system because it accommodates the cargo of the passenger convoy. And if I may open the final assembly, then you could observe that it is placed right here on the top of the passenger unit. This is the navigation dish, a part of the navigation equipment. This has been modeled by Chaitanya. And as you can see, this is an integral part of the hovercraft system as well. The reason why it's important is because it helps the hovercraft to communicate with nearby ports and maintain a smooth channel of communication altogether so that a smooth convoy for the passengers of the hovercraft is ensured. This right here is the radar antenna. It is another part of the navigation equipment and has been modeled by Chaitanya, like the previous dish antenna. This again is integral for communication of the hovercraft with ports and other nearby seafaring vessels. Right here in the assembly, it can also be viewed that the navigation equipment is placed at the top of the hovercraft so as to ensure that it gets maximum coverage and range. This is the cockpit of the hovercraft. This has been modeled by me, Aryan Solanki. The cockpit is a very integral part of the hovercraft as it acts as the forefront of navigation and is basically the center of command. This is where the pilot resides and communicates and steers the convoy of a given passenger hovercraft. As you can see, it has multiple integral details, all of which have been made for it to be aerodynamically suitable. And if I am to show you the final assembly, then it can also be noted that the cockpit is placed at the bow's end of a given hovercraft.
Hi everyone, I am Arthur Dubey. So the next part is the steers, and this part is being modeled by Atharv. So in this we have the AutoCAD model of the steers, and in the final assembly it's been located here at the corner of the hovercraft. On both the sides of the hovercraft, and steers facilitate easy access to and from the hovercraft. They provide a safe and structured way for individuals to embark and disembark. So the next part is the railings, and this part is being modeled by Athar. So in this we are having two types of railings on the basis of their lengths, long and short ones. So these are located on the sides of the hovercraft, as you can see in the main assembly, and they primarily act as safety barriers to prevent individuals or objects from falling over the hovercraft, and as they travel in rough terrains and as well as seas, so it helps in providing a barrier. And our next part is life ring. This part is being modeled by Somit, and the AutoCAD model of this is something like this. And in the final assembly, these are located at the sides of the passenger unit on both the sides of the hovercraft. So the basic function of life ring is that it is a flotation device which helps people stay afloat in a case of emergencies. So these gadgets are frequently installed in boats and ships, and particularly in the areas near the oceans and water bodies. So they help wherever the drowning risk is involved.